What's good, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joke, and I'm back at again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a bold bread biscuit with you, man. This is another ranking video, but it might just be the last, because as most of you guys know, NFL.com's been doing their top 100 players of the NFL leading up to the 2018 season, and we just got to the players from 20 to 11, and we have Luke coming in at number 12, and I think a lot of us thought that Luke might be, in the top 10, but I think this is actually a pretty good spot for him. I mean, he came in above Alvin Kamara, Big Ben, Jalen Ramsey, who had a great year last year, came in above Gronk, Calais Campbell, and even DeAndre Hopkins. And he only just got beat by Russel Wilson at number 11, which at first glance, when I saw this at first, I was like, you know what? How does Luke, isn't Luke more valuable to our defense than Russell Wilson to his offense? Then I thought about it. The Seahawks had a Swiss cheese offensive line. They had no real running game going, and even with like the decent names at their receiver core, and they please be 100% aware, they had a much better receiving core than us. They all looked average to almost bad. Jimmy Graham is just a name now. I'm really starting to think that Jimmy Graham may have, I mean, he lost his mojo after leaving Drew Brees. But when you think about what Russell Wilson was able to do with the Seahawks, they didn't make the playoffs, but without Russell Wilson, they would have probably only won like 3 games last year. They were not good. Their defense struggled. The offense was horrible. Like, we know that Cam's mobile, but Russell Wilson had to he had to scramble each and every play. He had to show off his athletic ability every time he touched the ball. You thought our O-line was bad. The Seahawks was a lot worse, and Russell Wilson tried. I mean, he had to do something. So you know what? I'm not even that upset with Russell Wilson being here at number 11. And then thinking about, who else is on the list, who's going to be in the top 10. I mean, we have players like Antonio Brown, Aaron Donald, Tom Brady. We have Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't play last year, but you know how that's going to go. He's not going to be on this list. I mean, it's kind of a given. They're going to give Aaron Rodgers a high ranking, even though he barely played last year, and we beat them. But, I mean, Drew Brees, Todd Gurley, we have Carson Wentz. One name that I don't think that should be up here, but he probably will be, is Von Miller. I do believe 100% that Luke is more valuable than Von Miller, but I can kind of understand why they'd have him up there. I mean, he's a glorified defensive lineman, really. He's basically, he blitzes every play, but that's not a big deal for me, man. If it's just one player who's above Luke, I can't really fault the people who voted on this list, which I believe is players, for putting these 10 players above Luke. And I can even understand Russell Wilson because, look, he does a lot more with less. I mean, we have a lot more help on our defense for Luke than Russell Wilson has on his offense for him. So I can feel that a little bit. But I mean, just looking at Luke's stats from last year, man, Luke is a beast, bro. I mean, Luke is disgusting. He missed a game, but he had a total of what was it? He had 4 passes defended, 3 interceptions. He had 3 fumble recoveries, 1 for a touchdown, and 74 tackles. This man has 74 tackles. He has not missed a beat. I mean, in his 6 years of being in the NFL, he had 103, 96, 107, 76, 71, 74. This man, Luke, he's been a beast since the second he left Boston College. This man has been disgusting. I mean, wasn't he? I believe he was, yeah. He was a Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was Defensive Player of the Year his second year in the league. And then he's been in the NFL Top 100 every year since his second year in the league. He went 79 in 2013, number 15 in 2014. They went 14, 7, 20, and now 12. I mean, 5 Pro Bowls, 4 first-team All-Pros. This man is disgusting. Luke Kuechly, I mean, honestly, if it weren't for players like Aaron Donald and maybe Richard Sherman a few years ago, Luke Kuechly would have to be one of the best. I mean, he is one of the best defensive players in the league. But if it weren't for Aaron Donald, I would have to say that Luke Kuechly is the most valuable, the most important, smartest, most dynamic defensive player in the league. He can tackle. He can cover some of the slot receivers and tight ends, the whole middle of the field, and even to the, he's even a sideline kind of guy. He's not like a dead center, stay in the middle and you know, and play this right here in the middle and look for that. He can go to the sideline and play. He can break on balls. He knows plays that are coming. He knows your check downs. He knows your audibles. Luke sees it all. So for him being at number 12 here, at first glance for a Panthers fan, you might think, you know, that's kind of weird. I think Luke's more valuable than that. But you have to understand, I feel like those names I listed, and even Russell Wilson, which those could be flipped. I mean, I wouldn't be upset either way with those flipped. And even Von Miller, if he was at 10, if it was Von, Russell Wilson, and Luke Kuechly between 9 and 12, I mean, I wouldn't even, any way you flip those, I'm kind of cool with that. I do believe Luke's more valuable than Von, but I can also understand why Von Miller would be slightly ahead of him. But either way you flip it, Aaron Donald's still probably the best defensive player in the league. Probably the best player overall. I gotta say, Aaron Donald might be the best player overall in the whole league. There's no answer for him. But anyway, man, big congrats to Luke Kuechly, man. This dude is disgusting. Then we signed him to a 5-year, $63 million deal. That sounds like a lot of money, but I feel like that's not enough for Luke. I feel like it's not enough for Luke. This man is a beast. But what do y'all think, man? Do you think Luke should be ranked higher? And where do you think he should be ranked in this list? Do you think that Luke is actually the best defensive player in the league? Let me know in the comments below or my Twitter at Shellitronnn, same as the channel name, bro. You already know to do that like button. I got a button right here for subscribe. A button right here for you to watch more videos. Namaste. Back sooner than you think.